We are at our second video in how to make beautiful wedding style roses out of crepe paper. And in fact, we are using a strange technique, which is that we are making our roses all out of one strip of petal. And for me, this has helped so much. It has taken it has made me make so much progress in making roses that I feel are lifelike and look like they have so much movement and also incredibly compact and wonderful centers. And unfortunately, I do not have any tea roses around right now. They are they just finished a beautiful bloom, but I want to talk to you about cutting the petal tops. So petal cutting with crepe paper flowers, I think, happens in two stages. The first stage is when you cut the basic shape, and in this, which we did in the previous video. The next stage is you add some refinements, and the refinement stage is where the rose really gets its personality. And so I'm really glad I have some live roses to show you the petal cutting techniques with, or exemplify how they look on an actual rose. But I do wish I had a tea rose for you. I just don't. So anyway, petal tops can be plain. I'm going to try and find a plain one for you. Here's one. This is about as plain gets. You can see that the mid part of the petal is cupped, and you can see down here it comes down to a close V, but you know what? We don't have to care about that at all because we are using this technique. And look at this gentle, lovely shape. It's almost like it has a lip going all the way around. But that kind of shape doesn't need any extra cutting or refinement. So I would call that one a plain petal. The next kind of petal that I want to show you is a petal with a notch. And the notches can be small, like, I don't know if you can see that here. It's got just a little tiny V, but that little tiny V really affects how the petal can be shaped and what sort of role it will tolerate and keep. Here is a petal that used to have a notch, but later on it split. Actually, I don't even have that on here, a split petal. And because this petal has this big split, it is able to have these two gorgeous, really extensive folds outward. All right, let me see if I can find you one more notch. Yeah, here's another notch right there. Actually, it's got a couple notches. And in fact, that might have at one point been a pout. What would a pout be? All right. Pout is a term I am using myself. I don't know if anybody else has really named these shapes. But when you're cutting a notch, you're going to fold the petal in half. And you can do this on multiple petals. And you're just going to make a very small cut in the middle. And then the notch, so let's see, here we'll do a notch. It's just a little tiny cut. It can be rounded, it can be jagged. The way that roses have these particular features really determines their personality. in addition to how well they can keep a fold. So there's my notch. Let me now show you a pout, since I can't really find it. And I like to put these on multiple petals at once, because why not? All right, so I've got my petals here. I'm folding them. And then what you're gonna do is make a little semicircle with the point of the semicircle ending at the middle of the petal. So you see my semicircle, and here's what I've got. That is a very rosy shape. So let me show you how that goes. And then what you do is you're gonna cut in this way and end right there. And that will create that famous rose shape that I am calling a pout. And alas, I don't have, oop, this is almost a little pout. I don't have very good examples for you, but tea roses are pretty well known for their pouts. The next kind of top of a petal cut is what I'm gonna call a slit. And that is going to be more common on larger petals. It can be in the center of a rose petal, or it can be along the side. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna take your petal and you're gonna make rounded edges and cut down a little bit. So I stack my petals so they are like this, and then I do a rounded edge here and a rounded edge here, and then that is my slit for the petal. Okay, and then another style that is really fun are petals that are irregular. And you're gonna see irregularities on petals as they get larger. Ooh, so here's a petal with a big notch right there. And I'm trying to find one. Ooh, here's a fun one. Look at this irregular edge. It's kind of wild. How would we make that? Ooh, I'm sorry, little petal. Okay, so let's get it really folded up. We're gonna make a little tiny bunch of paper, and then I'm gonna cut down and up. Let's see what we got. Ooh, I like these edges. To me, those kind of unpredictable little irregularities where, let's see, I'm making kind of paper doll folds, but I'm making them so small. And then I'll go in and just cut a tiny bit down and up. Yeah, and I find irregularities look really nice when I do them in unpredictable ways. Some roses have irregularities in the petal and they're rounded, and other ones have them and they're jagged. It just adds to the rose's personality. So those are here, and I would say take your larger petal, get it nice and bunched up, and then take a small bite out of it with your scissors, if that makes sense. And if they're smooth irregularities, you know, round the edges. And if they are jagged, leave them as is. And then finally, you've got a split modeled here. And I'm gonna take this and just make a longer slit. There we go. And you'll find a petal that's got a split is going to be able to have a lot of personality. So, sorry about this chaos here. But with your octopus, when you start getting petals, it's not important to shape the first third. When you start getting petals here, or even over here, it's not important to shape those. But when the pieces actually look like petals, take some experiment. Try making a couple plain, make 1 or 2 notched, have a couple in a row be a pout, give them a slit, and then if you like, make 1 or 2 irregular, and then make 1 or 2 have a split. And you can do multiple things on the same petal. All right, I hope you enjoyed this perspective on petal tops, and it would be great if you liked and subscribed. Because in our next video, we are going to shape the petals. We are rapidly making it through our lesson plan here to help you get some beautiful tea roses. And right now I'm going to take these lovely organic rose petals and combine them with some black iced tea. So see you soon.